Welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint, where the truth always matters. I'm your host Charlie, the country conservative, and co-host Brendan, from the Brendan Statler Show. We are your source for conservative news. Now on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, patriots and thinkers, welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint, where the truth is our compass and liberty our guiding star. I'm your host, Charlie, the country conservative.
And I'm Brendan Statler of the Brendan Statler Show.
And together, we embark on a journey through the bedrock principles that define conservatism. First, let us talk about individual liberty. It's the heartbeat of our movement. The belief that every person possesses inherent rights bestowed not by the government, but by their creator. We champion free speech, religious freedom, and the right to bear arms, because when individuals thrive, society flourishes. Second, we uphold limited government. Our founders knew the power unchecked leads to tyranny. So we advocate for a government that protects, not suffocates. We believe federalism, the states as laboratories of democracy, each with a unique solution to challenges. Third, fiscal responsibility. We are not just balancing budgets, we are safeguarding our children's future. We know that prosperity isn't found in bloated bureaucracies or reckless spending. It's forged in the crucible of hard work, innovation, and free markets. Fourth, a strong national defense. We honor our brave men and women in uniform, standing sentinel against threats to our sovereignty. Peace through strength isn't a slogan, it's a solemn duty. We cherish our allies and confront our adversaries with unwavering resolve. Fifth, traditional values, family, faith, and community, the bedrock of civilization. We celebrate marriage, life, and the timeless wisdom passed down through generations. These values aren't relics, they are the compass that steer us toward a better tomorrow. So, my fellow conservatives, let's ignite the torch of liberty, dispel the fog of misinformation, and engage in spirited dialogue. Buckle up, because Conservative Viewpoint is your beacon in the storm, a place where ideas clash, convictions deepen, and truth prevails. I'm honored to be your guide. Let's begin this journey together. Welcome, everybody, to what has been a long Monday, but a short weekend. Oh, yeah. So I hope everybody had enjoyed themselves. I hope you had a great weekend. But we got a hell of a show for you. So sit back, relax, and let's get engaged in these topics that we're going to go over today. And something I didn't mention to you guys, one day this week, I'm going to be asking you a question. And it's going to give you a chance to win one of these cups above my head. And you will be able to, I can't tell you what it's going to be about, but you're going to be able to answer the question when I ask it. I'm not telling you what day, because it's going to be about one of the shows. So when I ask the question, you guys can email me the answer with your name and your address, and you can pick out one of those cups above my head. I also have black and a light green one too, and I will send you the cup. So I will tell you when we're going to do it, but not today. I'm not going to tell you, but that's coming up this week. So you have to watch the show to be able to figure out what the answer is going to be. So guys got to pay attention. All right, Brendan, you got anything this morning before we get started?
Just on the immunity case, I could read this off real quick. This just broke from Fox News. Trump is now moving to overturn Manhattan case after SCOTUS immunity decision. So this is going to be very interesting to see, because the Supreme Court has obviously ruled, as many of you know already, it's a story that's dominating the news, that presidents have immunities when it comes to their official actions as president, but not unofficial actions that don't fall under the presidential duties. So the main question that still remains that is going to have to be decided: what constitutes as an official act and an unofficial act when it comes to these political persecutions of President Trump? Well, apparently Trump has already moved to overturn his criminal conviction. I would like to call it a persecution, but this is Fox News' words. After this SCOTUS decision, and hopefully many of these cases go away because of this. I mean, we could only hope, but it's going to be a fight to the bitter end. The Democrats aren't going to let all this go to waste, as we know. So it's going to be a fight.
Oh, it most definitely is. Now we're going to get into some of the stuff that come up after I got the show going today, because a lot of you saw that I went live when the immunity kicked off and the decision by the Supreme Court. First off, this one just came over. Biden slams Supreme Court immunity ruling, says it lets president ignore the law. Well, he should be lucky that the Supreme Court did this, because he can get taken on what he's done now. It doesn't save him from what he did as vice president. So,
very true. Or senator.
I know you guys talked about this on the American Rebellion, because I was sneaking in. I was there the whole time. I was setting up everything. So I was watching the whole time. So I know what you guys were talking about. So, so you might get a repeat of some of the stuff that you guys talked about over on Gary's show, but that's okay, because I got some different stuff for you. But this piece of shit has enough nerves to sit there and say it's a disservice what the Supreme Court did. All these Democrats have been whining and crying all day after this come out, and it's sickening. And I've got a few of the reactions from these people, and you're gonna die when you see them. It's just great.
Yeah, and the thing that is not that's not getting enough attention with this is not only the liberal meltdown from this. There are many people, including Harry Sisson, that is openly calling for Biden to carry out the assassination of Donald Trump. I mean, and there are many people parroting this. My biggest concern at this point, because Trump is being sentenced July 11th. That's just 10 days from now.
Maybe.
Is somebody going to try to assassinate him? And somebody from Trump's team already reached out to Harry Sisson, and said that he should expect a visit from Secret Service, and they absolutely should. The Secret Service should be going to every person's house that is tweeting this out, because it's all over Twitter with the liberals. I mean, they are alluding to the assassination of President Trump. I mean, I fear that somebody is going to try to assassinate him. Hope they're not successful. It seems that the Secret Service really liked President Trump personally, so hopefully they're really on their game, because there's definitely a target on his back right now with this.
Oh, that's most definitely. People were throwing jokes about it the whole time up there, but the problem is, I mean, if Biden wants to try that stuff, that doesn't protect him. That immunity does not protect him on that. So,
but you're talking the liberals here. They're completely stupid. They don't realize that assassinating your political opponent does not fall under presidential powers. You know, but these people aren't very smart, as we know. They're actually quite dumb. It's actually astonishing how dumb they are.
Oh, it is. First, I got to say hi to all the Wimpkin Warriors out there, Tammy and everybody. I'm glad to see you guys made it home safe. Thank you for stopping in. So I'm going to start off first before we talk about these other ones. I'm going to start off with, did you guys see the sodomy justice and her dissent? Yeah. I go to Sotomayor. She's unreal. She issues a stark warning about presidential immunity ruling. And I want you to watch her remarks on here. And of course, this comes from CNN, which I had to suck it up and listen to him. So take a look at this real quick.
The first Justice Sotomayor, never in the history, so this is what she said, never in the history of our republic has a president had reason to believe that he would be immune from criminal prosecution if he used the trappings of his office to violate the criminal law. Moving forward, however, all former presidents will be cloaked in such immunity. If the occupant of that office misuses official power for personal gain, the criminal law that the rest of us must abide will not provide a backstop. With fear for our democracy, I dissent.
Trump never used his office for personal gains. That's what they're doing. So she's just falling in with the rest of the Democrats' bullshit of saying what they're doing, and trying to blame it on Republicans. So that just pisses me off that a justice can run her mouth like that. And when, of course, she wasn't one voted for it. So, but that's the problem with today and what goes on with these people. Now, we also have Biden's deputy campaign manager, after Trump immunity ruling, said he's scared as shit. Just like the rest of them, because they think Trump is going to arrest them. Well,
they should be scared.
If you haven't done anything, like we've said this past couple of episodes, if you haven't done anything against Trump illegal, you shouldn't be scared. So Everybody that has a guilty conscience, you've done something wrong. And you're right, Brendan. They should be scared because he's going to chew you up and spit you out. So if you don't like it, that's your problem. If Trump gets charged with inciting violence, Harry should be as well. Oh, most definitely. They all should be. Now,
they won't be. They won't be. That's only for Trump and his allies and his supporters to get prosecuted in Biden's America.
Oh, most definitely. But what these idiot liberals don't understand is this helps all presidents. This wasn't just about Trump. This helps them all. So when they're sitting there saying, well, this was about Trump, and on Newsbreak, I made some comments, and then some asshole come back and said, you idiot, they're talking about Trump. No, they're not, you dumbass. They're talking about all presidents fall under this immunity act. They've always had immunity from day one. And Sotomayor, bitch, whatever, made it sound like this is just beginning. And that this retroacts back to the other presidents. No, they've always had immunity. Nobody has ever been tried for the crimes that they've committed as a president. So this is the only thing that came to light because these idiot Democrats are taking it out on Trump and have pushed this issue. So,
yeah,
the idiot liberals are stupid as hell.
Yeah, they are. But this is one thing that people need to remember, too. I mean, a president has to have some form of immunity because they're not going to be able to fulfill their duties because they're going to be worried the entire time that they're going to be persecuted after they leave office. I mean, you have to make tough decisions as president. I mean, you do. The president has to have some form of immunity when he's carrying out his official duties. And they make it sound like that Trump could go on a shooting rampage and be immune from being prosecuted. That's not what this is saying at all. It is when it comes to his official acts as president. I mean, where they're getting this idea that Joe Biden can always say that Trump is a domestic terrorist and take him out, and that somehow falls under official acts of the president is completely beyond me. But like I said, these people are not very smart. This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. You have to have this for all presidents, not just Trump. This has to be the standard for every president, as you said, Charlie.
Right, because Dennis said Obama is probably relieved with this ruling.
Yeah,
because he's got a lot of things that he did that he could have been charged for if this ruling didn't come to light.
Exactly. So, and one more point to add to that. If this ruling did not go this way, and they said the presidents have no immunity whatsoever. Well, we could have went after Joe Biden after he leaves office for the Afghan withdrawal, opening the border. We could go after Obama, like you said. We could go after George W. Bush and Dick Cheney and basically the whole Bush administration for lying about the weapons of mass destruction for the reason that they gave to invade Iraq because they wanted the oil. We could go after all them too. We could go after Bill Clinton for stuff that he did. I mean, we could go after anybody.
Probably every president has done something that you or I would have been arrested for.
Yeah. And they have to have that immunity, like I said, because nothing would ever get done. Nothing would ever get done because they would be so afraid that they're going to be prosecuted after. I mean, you have to have that for the office of the president. You have to have that for the president.
Yep. Now, the next reaction I'm going to show you is from CBS. And of course, I had to watch all these lame new fake media sites because I knew they were going to be freaking out. So I'll let you watch this one from CBS. No, you know what? I don't want to do that one because that will give something away here. But we're going to do the ABC one first. We're going to do ABC. Take a look at this.
This is an absolute win for Donald Trump, not just the substance of the opinion, but also the court had the option here to make the decision effective immediately or go through a traditional waiting period of 25 days. There's no expedited period. This effectively grants Donald Trump blanket immunity because it makes it seems to me now, impossible for a trial to go forward, either in the classified documents case, because this is also at stake there, and the January 6th case. And I think when you look at the dissenting opinion, Devin read part of it. This line stands out to me. It says the decision, quote, makes a mockery of the principle foundational to our Constitution and system of government that no man is above the law. Now, look, this decision doesn't say that what Trump did in his effort to overturn the election is covered by this immunity, but it would take time. It's going to take time that simply isn't there, and you have an election coming up, and you have Donald Trump has made it abundantly clear that if he wins this election, this case goes away.
Now, you see, they started out good, said this is a big win for Trump. But then they had to go there and sit there and try to say Trump, Trump's a bad guy. There's nothing, no courts have tried to say Trump has done anything to try to take over the government. Nobody's ever went to court over that. So why do they keep saying this bullshit? It's just what they're trying to run on because they have nothing else to run on.
Exactly. You just answered your own question. I mean, when you have a record as lousy as Joe Biden and Democrats, I mean, you got to do anything you could possibly do. They have to keep the January 6th narrative alive. I mean, seriously, and I mentioned this on American Rebellion show, and so everybody that's that watched that and is watching us will remember. If Donald Trump really led an insurrection, people would have brought more than flagpoles. That's all I'm saying. Not one gun was confiscated during January 6th. It wasn't an insurrection. It was a Fed-surrection. I mean, but they have to keep that narrative alive. They have to, we could dissect the entire January 6th narrative. We kind of already did that on last show, so I'm not going to do that. But, they have to keep the narrative alive. There's nothing they have to run on other than to just demonize Trump, say that he's going to be a dictator and that we're never going to have elections again in the United States when it's actually the exact opposite. If they win, our republic's done.
Most definitely. Because they're talking about Dems and DOJ only want to apply law against Trump but ignore everything against the Bidens. That's exactly it. They're a lawless party. And that's why November is so important. And it is coming up so fast. It's unbelievable. But then you got Madeline says the Immunity Act doesn't mean if a president commits crimes, he will not be punished. No one is above the law, not even the president. Right. But there are certain crimes we don't consider, I mean, they're not crimes, but it's a way of protecting what he does to protect us against terrorists and stuff. There's things that they do that if we try to do it, we'd be arrested and jailed for it. But this is something that he has to do for the safety of our country, which I don't consider a crime when you take out a terrorist organization.
No.
That's not a crime. For us to do it, it's a crime. But there's just certain things that a president has to be able to do without the fear of reprisal or bullshit like this that they're doing against Trump.
Yeah, and I also don't think it's a crime to talk to legislators in Georgia, let's say, and say that we've seen problems with this election throughout the country. What are you seeing in your state? I mean, why is it that it's a crime for a president to do that? I don't understand what they say he tried to overturn the election. How exactly was he trying to overturn the election? By asking about potential fraud in a state, talking with the legislators. I mean, I don't understand how that's a crime or trying to overturn an election. I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever.
It's not a crime, and they're allowed to do it. Everybody's allowed to deny whatever they want to. It's not a crime to do it.
And another thing that nobody talks about, there's nothing saying that the legislator had to take his call either. As far as I know, they could have ignored him if they wanted to. I don't think there's anything illegal about that. They picked up the phone and they actually talked to him. They didn't say that they felt threatened or anything, that they tried to overturn the election. I don't understand what the argument is. What law or laws he supposedly broke. It's all
Democrats. The Democrats' laws.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who he broke.
It was because Trump wasn't like every other politician and just went away, because this was not the first election stolen. We know this.
Oh,
If you look back at 2000, I mean, a lot of people believe it. I don't know. I was too young at the time, of course. A lot of people believe that Al Gore really beat George W. Bush, and there is a lot of evidence to support that is a very real possibility that happened. I mean, who knows? They've been putting in whoever they want to put in for a long time. Trump was the only one that pushed back on it, and that's why they're going after him, because they can't get rid of him.
Most definitely. And Sean says every Republican needs to vote in every election. This alone is how we end up where we're at. Most definitely. And we say that's why we're doing this, to get people to get up and wake the hell up and get out and vote. Now, personal crimes outside the official government, Dennis says, business can be prosecuted. Exactly. But the liberals aren't listening to that part.
No.
They just think, oh, Trump's above the law. That's not what this freaking decision was.
No.
And there's going to be a lot more come out about this decision after the judges get back off their summer break, because this starts their summer break today. So they wanted to put that out. So there's still a lot more in there, because a lot of these idiot media sites are sitting there saying that they didn't clarify or who is going to decide what is personal and what is presidential, and what is going to be prosecuted and what can't be prosecuted. Who does decide that?
Well,
does the justices?
Yeah. Well, it's what it's going to do now. It's going to go to a lower court, and they're probably still going to rule against Trump in many of these cases, because, the judges in many of these cases, except for the documents case, it appears, they're all political hacks that are just looking to convict Trump. So I would imagine what's going to happen is the judge will uphold the charges initially. Then it'll go through an appeals process. I mean, this is going to take months. I mean, this is going to go, all these cases are going to go well after the election. And honestly, at that point, it doesn't even matter, because Trump could pardon himself at that point. So I would say these cases are pretty much dead on arrival at this point because of this ruling, which is great news.
They don't expect any of these hearings to go anywhere before the election anyways. No. Except for this one in New York which they better reconsider that, because you're going to see some hell of a lot of lawsuits. Well, you already have a bunch of lawsuits, and we'll be talking about more of that tomorrow and the next day, because there's a lot that have been coming out. My inbox is mashed full of stuff. So, but William Lockett said he wanted Ross Perot to win. You probably don't remember Ross Perot.
I know.
He had
Ross
big ears
Perot.
and fun charts.
Yeah,
oh, that's great.
Yeah, he ran against Bush and Clinton, right? Was that the same election? Yeah, he was the third party. Yeah.
Yep. On the brighter sides,
a lot of people believe that Ross Perot actually cost George H.W. Bush re-election, that he actually helped Clinton win.
Oh, I can believe that one. Not protect Joe Biden and his family from prosecution. No, because all that selling of the brand and all the influence peddling and all that bullshit happened when he was vice president and when he wasn't in office. So he's not covered by this immunity thing. So he's fucked if they push, and they keep pushing the issue like they seem to be doing. We'll see what happens. But we have to win the House and the Senate, or at least one or the other. If not, it all goes away. Biden is free, scot-free. Nothing will happen after that.
Yeah, and one thing that people need to remember, we need to have a clean sweep this election. We have to vote Republican up and down the ticket. As much as I don't like most Republicans, Dems have already said if they take the House, they're not going to certify Trump victory on January 6th. So we need to make sure that everything goes red. We need a complete Republican sweep. We need to pick up 5 seats in the House. We need to flip the Senate, and we need to put President Trump in the White House. I mean, that's the only way we're really going to solve the problems that we have.
Right. And that's why we keep saying we have to beat the Democrats at state, local, and federal levels, no matter what.
Yep.
And Dennis said there is still some ambiguity when it comes to the sitting president. That's what they have to come back with after their summer break, and define exactly what's protected and what's not protected. You're right, Dennis. Sean says for the crimes that the House of Ways and Means Committee has uncovered. They've uncovered a lot, and there's a lot that actually, believe it or not, the Judiciary Committee has come up with some new stuff I just saw, and we'll be getting into that later. But I'm going to let you guys watch the Biden campaign and their reaction to this too. This is great. Take a look at this.
We are getting our first reaction from the Biden campaign, Craig, and it gives you a sense of their thinking and their strategy moving forward. Let me read you a part of what they say. Quote, today's ruling doesn't change the facts, so let's be very clear about what happened on January 6th. Donald Trump snapped after he lost the 2020 election and encouraged a mob to overthrow the results of a free and fair election. Trump is already running for president as a convicted felon for the very same reason he sat idly by while the mob violently attacked the Capitol. He thinks he is above the law and is willing to do anything to gain and hold on to power for himself. That is significant. Why? Because, of course, that's been the crux of President Biden's argument for why he deserves another 4 years in office. He has tried to cast Trump as a threat to the nation's democracy, as someone who potentially runs the risk of carrying out yet another January 6th. And so it is clear that Democrats are doubling down on that argument and digging into that argument. But therein lies the crux of the crisis within the Democratic Party, that in the wake of that devastating debate performance by President Biden, questions swirling, outright panic within the Democratic Party about whether President Biden is the best messenger, the best person to take on this fight. I can tell you privately, Democrats are expressing concerns. One person saying to me he cannot win, another saying this race is effectively over. So, of course, the questions become, would he step down? That process, incredibly difficult, incredibly challenging. And again, right now we have seen a defiant President Biden. Our Kelly O'Donnell reporting that sources inside the campaign are considering potentially more interviews, more public visibility. But that is really the crux of this crisis.
Now, you believe the bullshit of what she just said?
Coming from NBC, yes, I do, actually.
But again, if he incited a riot, why haven't they charged anyone with inciting? Nobody, not a single person. So why don't they shut their fucking mouths? Because I'm sick of hearing it every time we turn around. incited. Trump incited. No, he didn't, because they would have charged him. If the Democrats could have charged him, they would have. They're not going to stop. Look what the hell they've done now, and they're all lies.
Yeah, and where was I going with it? The thing that I find really hilarious about this whole thing, they accuse Trump of overturning the election, right? They say that he stopped the peaceful transfer of power, led a mob on January 6th, all this stuff. What did I just say before? What they're threatening to do, that they're threatening to not certify a Trump victory if they take the House. And their reason is because Trump is a convicted felon. Well, being a convicted felon does not make you ineligible for the presidency. So they have no business not certifying his election. And another thing that is going to be interesting, and not in a good way, if this does play out this way, how are they going to justify not certifying a Trump victory when they just passed that bill in the middle of the night last year, stating that the vice president's role during January 6th now is strictly ceremonial? How are they going to do this now? I mean, that plan should all be shot down at this point. I mean, you give the Democrats enough power, they will screw themselves eventually, and that's all they have been doing this entire year. They just completely screwed themselves over and over again, and it is great to see.
Oh, most definitely. And Alan says Jill won't let him quit. And that's the whole purpose, that he went to Camp David this weekend to meet with the family. I guarantee there was other people there than just the family. And I knew it from the get-go that it's going to come out and say he's not dropping out because Jill Biden won't let him. Why? And you guys talked about this before. Power, money. And the Democrats are pushing Jill Biden to keep him in. There's various reasons that everybody's pushing it out. And I know you guys talked about this on American Rebellion just a little bit ago. But we were talking about replacing Joe Biden. Well, there's a different theory now. And I know what you said, Brendan, about Clinton. Well, the new theory is Clinton's still in the picture, but replacing Harris with Clinton on the ticket.
Yeah.
Now, why would that be so important? Because if Trump or Biden would win, what are they going to do? They're going to invoke the 25th on him. Yep. And move her right up into it. Now, I want you guys to watch this video real quick on the replacement of Donald Trump or of Biden. Watch this.
But all of this talk about replacing President Biden at the top of the ticket seems to be gaining a lot of traction. I'm wondering if members of the party actually wanted to do it. How would that work, and how quickly would it have to happen, Major?
So traction is an interesting word. Yes, there are conversations on the outer perimeter of the White House and the Biden campaign, but not within it. And significantly today, not only did Jim Clyburn say this shouldn't be a topic of conversation, also former President Obama did as well. And the Biden re-election campaign in the White House made considerable efforts today behind the scenes to make sure both those statements happened, and happened as rapidly as possible, to sort of tell Democrats thinking along these lines, back off. The president is not stepping down. And if the president doesn't, this is a closed issue. Under Democratic National Committee rules, if you are the leader in delegates, and President Obama has 99% of the so far allocated delegates. President Biden, sorry, yes, has those delegates. You can't dislodge him unless he decides not to seek the nomination.
Now, there is other theories behind this, and I thought I was going to get into this on today's episode. But they can replace him if they want to push the issue. But the problem with this is they have to admit he has a medical condition. And they can consider it a disability. And they could wipe him out and they could take it off of him. That is under the Democrat National Committee rules that they could do that. But like Brendan said on Gary's show and this show the other day, that, okay, the ballots are already printed. But you keep Biden on there, I guarantee they've got mail-in ballots already made up with Biden's name still on there. So yes, they won't want to get rid of Biden because
Right.
then if they are going to cheat, they're going to use those ballots to cheat with. And if they get rid of him and they can't, their ballots are worthless. So you watch the mail-in ballots this election. I guarantee there's going to be something funny going on with those coming up. You know, I guarantee something because what else do they got? How else are they going to cheat? Like you guys said on Gary's show, you make it too big to rig.
Right. And I think the other aspect of why they're going to keep him in is I think we know now who the real president is at the moment, acting president, illegitimate president, I would say. I think it is Jill Biden. I mean, she does not want Joe to drop out of this race because she wants to hold the power. She wants to keep the power. This sort of happened before, if you look back at American history. Edith Wilson, who was the wife of President Woodrow Wilson, she was actually making a lot of presidential decisions late in Woodrow Wilson's second term as his health was declining.
He had a stroke.
She was essentially the acting president. She was the one making the important decisions. I think Joe Biden is the modern day Edith Wilson. I think that is the one that is really calling the shots. I mean, it's a combination of Obama and the Clintons, but I think Jill Biden is the one that is really making the decisions right now, and she doesn't want to give up that power.
Well, she's got a lot of power as a first lady, but have you noticed there's been a lot of people calling Obama president when they're trying to talk about Biden, and they're calling it President Obama, and then you notice this guy.
They've done that over and over again.
Right, and they keep doing this. So Obama's playing a huge role in this, and somebody else commented on that too. And we're missing. Oops, yeah, Lee did. Oops, he let the truth slip out. Exactly right.
They've been doing this the entire time that Biden has been in the White House. They keep referring, even Karine Jean-Pierre.
Yep, she did a lot of times.
Yeah, she said President Obama. She's like, oh, I mean President Biden. You know, like she just brushed it off like it was a mistake. It's like, no, you meant what you said. You just didn't
exactly. Yeah, Billy Bob said it too. That he said the quiet part out loud. William, they changed the rules for the national presidential election in 3 states 2 days before the election night. They don't even have to hide it. Exactly. And they're not hiding it. That's the problem. They should hide it. I'll take my chances if the Taliban comes on my property. Exactly right, Joey. He was watching on Facebook. He said they're definitely afraid of Trump. They're all nuts. Trump all the way. That's right, Joe. But you guys, you guys got to make a perfect point. Dennis is saying that's right, guy. The super delegates are what can be used to replace Joe Biden. There's so much, and these fake news media wants to sit there and tell you they can't do it. That's bullshit. They can do it if they want to push the issue, but they're going to find issues about it. And those super delegates that they're talking about are extra delegates that they have that they can appoint to anybody they feel like it. So they can do it if they want to.
Yeah, they absolutely could do it. I don't know if they do it at this point, though, because I think it's going to do more harm for them than it will just keeping them at this point. I mean, they're completely screwed either way you look at this. I mean, but I don't know if they're gonna replace him at this point. I mean, you're right. They could do 25th Amendment after they, if they are able to steal it from them. I don't think they're going to be able to, but they could do something like that. But I think they're going to try to keep him in through the election. I mean, I don't see any way that it benefits them at this point to remove him. I think they're kind of stuck with him because even if they do remove him and replace him with somebody else, nominate somebody else, imagine the lawsuits that are going to happen. I mean, this is going to be a shitstorm that none of them want. So I think they're sticking with Biden at least through the election. That's the way I see it right now.
Yeah, when I see them talking about putting Clinton in there, replacing her with Harris, I can see that point. And that's in the hopes that they can win. And my problem is, I don't think they can beat Trump in this election. Not with this demented fool, because you guys were also talking about when Biden said that no soldier has died into his watch in a decade or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got it.
13. Yeah, you forgot about the 13, apparently.
Right. So I got a video for you guys to watch of two fathers and talking about Biden and the old wristwatch check. Taking a look at this.
You talked about Sergeant Nicole G., who was one of the two female Marines who were killed among the 13. She was the one who posted that Instagram post holding.
In reference to the checking of his watch, that didn't happen just once. That happened on every single one that came out of that airplane.
Mark, you want to comment on the watch incident? Did you notice the same thing?
Yes, I did. I actually leaned into my son's mother's ear and I said, I swear to God, if he checks his watch one more time, and that was only probably 4 times in, I couldn't look at him anymore after that.
Now, this is only one example that I could give you. There's other people that they said that Joe Biden called them and was not sincere whatsoever. But when Trump called them before Biden did, and they could tell the difference between sincere Trump and this demented idiot. And you saw the watch and you heard what they said. He checked it like 4 or 5 times. The pathetic piece of shit. And then he said he's done more for our vets than Trump did. What a fucking lie that is. It's unreal.
Yeah, and some of the parents of these fallen soldiers, Biden never actually called or talked to. He just sent like a standard letter from the White House. And, this one mother in particular, who her son was killed in this disastrous withdrawal, said that she had reached out to Biden and his team numerous times wanting to talk to him about this. And they were denied every single time. But President Trump did call her. I mean, she's even went to his rally since then, said that her and her family spent 4 hours at Mar-a-Lago with him. I mean, it's if you don't have respect for our military, you have no business being president. Everything else aside, we could talk about every failure that this illegitimate regime has brought us. But I mean, that alone should make people vote for Trump. I mean, I don't know how you could vote for somebody that just blatantly has no respect for our military and really has no respect for our nation. I mean, I don't understand how anybody could cast a ballot for this guy. I don't get it.
Me either. And just by watching what he's done over and over again within these almost 4 years that he's been in office, it just doesn't make sense to me that how anybody could even look at it and say, oh, he's done great for this country.
No, they hate Trump. I said this on Gary's show. These people that are voting against Trump, they would vote for the guy that raped their daughter over Donald Trump. I mean, they're voting against Trump. They want anybody but Donald Trump. It's Trump derangement syndrome. They would rather see the country burn and go to absolute shit than have Donald Trump back in the White House. That's just how these people think.
Yep. And then it says, you're both right. This is, again, they see no path to victory. They'll stop absolutely nothing to keep power, even a scorched earth event. Oh, most definitely. Something's going to happen if they see that they're not going to succeed in this election. Something's coming out. And somebody mentioned a lot long ago, another plague. Something's going to happen if they see that they're going to lose this election.
I fear what's going to happen if Trump wins, and I feel very confident in saying that he is. There's a significant time between him winning the election and actually being sworn in. I fear a cyber attack, wipes out all the internet, basically all electronics. There's going to be
infrastructure.
There's going to be mass hysteria throughout the country. There's going to be riots everywhere. Shit's going to hit the fan.
Most definitely.
And they could call martial law at that point,
right?
And hold on to power. And really, while everything's out, nobody's paying attention because there's such anarchy everywhere. They could have people like Donald Trump killed. They could have people like Tucker Carlson killed. Steve Bannon
anybody.
Killed.
The CIA does it all the time.
Yeah, go down the list. Rand Paul, Marjorie Taylor Greene. They could take out all these people while that is going on. I mean, I have a feeling that something's going to happen. I hope it doesn't, but these people are not going to concede defeat and just go away. I mean, I fear that something like that could happen in between the time of Trump winning the election and actually being sworn in.
Oh, you better believe it. And this is what we're going to have to watch for, especially if Trump does win, because the Democrats are still going to have their people within these alphabet agencies that can pull this kind of shit off. And
for sure.
That's why I say every one of these alphabet agencies need to be wiped out and start from the ground up and build them back up again.
Yep.
The hell with them.
I agree. Yep. They need to be gutted.
Yes, totally. From the administrative on down to the peons, they got to go.
I agree 100%.
Biden is a narcissist. He doesn't have any empathy for anyone. He is incapable of empathy. You're right, Dennis. That is most definitely right. What else are we getting into here? Don't me either. I could care less about numbers. Everybody's talking about liking and sharing. Everybody needs to share and like everybody's pages. I try to get as many people as we can to get the truth out to people. And it's not about the numbers. It's about getting your message out to people. And I did catch Violent Vixen. I caught her, and she's on Twitter. I got her today, and that's what helps us get our word out. It's not about how many you get. It's how far that you can get your reach out to wake these idiots up, to make them know what the truth is, because that's what we're here to do, is put the truth out to everyone, because you're not going to get that on cable TV news. You're not going to get it. I'm sorry, but that's why people are cutting the cable and going to places like this and Bongino and everybody like that, because you can't get the truth off of these idiots. And they're all liars, no matter what you look at.
Oh, yeah.
Republicans and Democrats, both. They lie to you. They're politicians. That's what they do. They lie.
Yeah, and the media, I don't care who it is, whether it is CNN, MSNBC, Fox, or even Newsmax. They're all terrible. They're all lying to you. You have to go to these alternate media sites. I mean, you can find a lot of them on Rumble. I mean, podcasts like Bongino's, Alex Jones, Bannon's War Room, who just went to prison today, by the way. These are the only people that are really delivering truth today. And that's a big reason why our country is in such bad shape, because we don't have a free press anymore. We don't have honest media. I mean, that's where a lot of the problems come from as well.
Yep, that's for sure. People need to vote for what's best for their kids and grandkids' generation, not some stupid party. Exactly, Jamal, because that's what people do. They vote because they're Democrat. So they vote Democrat.
Yeah.
I don't believe. But Brendan said this on Gary's show earlier. We need to vote Republican the whole ticket. Yeah, well, in this case, I'd say yes. But any normal cases, I don't agree with that, because I don't vote straight party. If I did when I was a Democrat, I would have never voted for Trump. But in this case, Brendan's right. We've got to get the Democrats out of power. Even though we got some shitty Republicans in there, we've got to get them in there until we can get this country back and we're not going to do it with Democrats being in there.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. I don't normally agree with that method of voting because that's what gets us into trouble. But right now, this election, we don't have time to sort that out. We just have to make sure that the Democrats do not take power this election. That's what it comes down to. We need a clean Republican sweep. Any other election, I would not be saying that. But, you know,
this one is, you definitely have to.
Stakes are way too high this election. We have to do that because I don't even consider myself Republican anymore. I really don't. I consider myself a conservative libertarian. I want the least amount of government possible to where our nation could be free and prosper. I mean, I hate the Republicans. I mean, you guys hear me say it all the time. Both parties are they suck. They will screw you every chance they get. But unfortunately, right now, stakes are too high. We have to elect Republicans because you have to vote for people that are at least acting like they're on our side. You can't let people win that are openly against us because there's no way to hold them accountable. That's the platform that the Democrats are running on is to stop Trump. And the platform that the Republicans are running on is they're supporting Trump, whether they mean it or not. It's a lot easier to hold those people that claim to support Trump accountable.
Right. I have to touch on this because Dennis just said something because he made a suggestion to me that I am working on, Dennis. I didn't forget it. I am working on it. And he said, you guys, you had better all become preppers if you're not ready. Prepare for the worst. He made a suggestion to me, and I am going to go with it, Dennis. I've got some of the other stuff worked out with it now. I'm just going to get the information so I can get it through. And I haven't even talked to you about it yet, but I see Vixen said that she's a prepper too. And what they're talking about, guys, is being prepared for a disaster, not just a war. I mean, we're talking storms, everything like that, because the day after it was the day before Dennis made that suggestion to me that we had a power outage, and we actually went live because of my generator was working, and I was able to still go live on it. Because I was prepared enough to have that generator in my garage, and my house is wired for a generator, so I can pretty much run this whole house on my generator. I don't, because you can't run 220 on it, and so I can't run my hot water heater or my furnace. So, but what he's correct. You guys, if Democrats get back in, we are going to have to be prepared, and we are going to have a segment in the show dealing with that subject, but I'm not going to give it away to you because the first one is going to be the one I talked to you earlier about, is about the question and trying to win them cups right there. And we'll go into more depth with that later. Let's see what else we got here. We're missing here. Kids from the 1950s and 70s are now adults in the position of power, and the same kids that grew up in the home before the streetlights came on is what happened to these people. Jamal, that's right. I grew up to where the streetlights, you went home. If you're not, you heard your first and your middle name, and you better get your ass moving because you're getting your ass whooped if you ain't home yet. So these kids do not know what that is. So that is a problem. Oh, Billy Bob Madeline, they only say that when the tinfoil hat is blinding. All these damn liberals are wearing the tinfoil hats because they don't have a clue of how to think for themselves. I'm a homesteader too. Oh, that's pretty cool, Vixen. I used to watch that on TV too. They have a lot of homesteader shows. That's pretty cool. But they're right, and it's not just a joke, because if we don't win this election, you can count on something bad happening. If Trump wins and he can't get these terrorists and the rest of these idiot immigrants the hell out of here, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's another aspect too to think about. You know, we have all these terrorists in the country right now.
Yep.
Are they going to stage a 9/11 type attack right after Trump is declared the winner, and then all of a sudden we're under attack and they declare martial law? I mean, there are all kind of possibilities, and none of them are good. So we should definitely be prepared regardless of how this election turns out, because like you said, if they're able to steal it for Biden again, shit's going to hit the fan.
Almost definitely.
But even if Trump wins, shit might still hit the fan in between him being declared the winner and actually being sworn in. So that's something that, we should be prepared no matter what, actually, because, we're in a very bad position, as everybody knows. I mean, it's never been more likely that we could have another attack here on U.S. soil like we did on 9/11 than right now. It's very likely right now.
Right, because if you just look around the country, France has taken their country back.
Yeah, it's happening all over Europe. It's great.
Well, now the Muslims are rioting in France because this woman is totally anti-Muslim, and she's going to start deporting people. And she's going to change France totally. And that's what's going to happen here. Shit's going to get ugly. And everybody's right on Wimpkin. They're saying the truth. And we guys need to be prepared. We're going to be going over stuff like that here shortly after I get the rest of the stuff worked out. But you guys got to pay attention to what's going to go on. It's definitely, we're not in a joke of a state anymore.
No.
We're on one serious state where your head needs to be on a swivel and watching your back. And we learned that in the prison because when you go into a restaurant, you have to watch your back, especially with inmates. You cannot turn your back on inmates, no matter how nice they are or anything. You have to keep them in front of you because they will jump you in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And we were 10 inmates to 1 when I was working there, and I think it's worse now because they're low on staff. But they let us leave from that prison every night. So you just see the point. This country's the same way. People will and can and will do whatever it takes to get their violence out because that's what the Democrat Party pushes. So we got to keep an eye on that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
With Billy Bob saying Trump still is being charged of the military. They will be sorry if they try some dumb shit. Yes, the guys do like Trump. The military does like Trump. And Trump told Biden that they don't like him. And they are absolutely right. Biden is trying to turn him into a whooshy-fied military, along with that General Milley. That little fat pussy. Oh, sorry, guys. Should never been in charge of our military.
No.
That son of a bitch is such a wuss bag. He's woke as hell and trying to tell the guys that they need to do, what the hell is that called? They needed to be a little more polite to transgender bullshit.
Yeah.
Just my ass. The Marines are a fighting force to be reckoned with. On top of, you got the Army and all that kind of but
understand white rage.
Exactly. So
wherever that is.
Yeah, I don't even know what white privilege is yet. I'm still waiting for that shit to happen to me.
My check must be gotten lost in the mail. My white privilege check.
Oh yeah, because I was watching. I don't know what it was. It was somewhere online while I was setting up this morning. They were doing that pride bullshit. Naked guys walking down the street, and this dude that they were talking to, I guarantee he's a pedophile. Because they're all naked, junk hanging out and everything. When does it become not illegal to expose yourself in public? Normally, when flashers rip their coats open, they could be arrested for public nudity. Not now. You walk down the damn streets, and the guy that was questioning him, he wasn't a reporter. I think it was just maybe one of us or something. But he was questioning this naked dude, and the guy said, "You think it's okay to be standing here naked with your junk and stuff hanging out?" And the guy in front of these kids, the guy said, "I didn't see no kids." He said, "They're coming up to you." He said, "But I don't come up to them." He said, "There's someone standing right behind you." Well, I didn't see them. How is this okay? This is the kind of shit that's got to stop. You're gay? Okay, be gay. Be gay in your house. You don't have to show this shit. That's not being gay. That's being a pedophile, and you all need arrested for it. But that's a different subject altogether. I agree 100%, Charlie, about the military. Say we all gave transgender brass some dildos and a feather duster and stick them up the front lines. Exactly right. That it just pisses me off to see what is going on and what they're trying to do to our military. We have the greatest fighting force this world has ever seen, and they're trying to pansy ass them, and they wonder why people don't want to join the military anymore. This is why.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, no shit. There's too many pedophiles out there, and this shit needs to stop. Period. No matter what. You should come on and share some of your knowledge. Yeah, Dennis seems to be pretty knowledgeable in a lot of different stuff. He started to be the doctor for Wimpkin. Then he ended up to be a lawyer. Yeah, and the man knows. We should have him on one day here with us,
yeah,
Brendan.
Absolutely, let's do it.
But all righty, guys, we're gonna wrap it up today. Brendan's probably tired as hell. He's been a movie star all day today, so he's probably tired, and he don't have to work tomorrow though.
No, I'm good.
No, he's off tomorrow, so he's going to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. If you coming back tomorrow night?
Yeah, let's do another hour. Hell with it. Let's do it.
But I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you for joining us in chat. You guys always make this show great by engaging, giving us your comments, getting involved in the democracy of our country. Don't forget to check out our Rumble pages, too, on top of our Wimpkin pages. And like, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you're tuning in from. Mine is the Country Conservative. Brendan's is the Brendan Statler Show. And he'll give you his other one once he gets his times and all that stuff worked out for his new show that he's going to be doing. He'll give that, guys, to you maybe on this show or whoever show he's going to be on that day. But he'll get his new stuff out to you as soon as he can because it's only right around the corner. So you got to be working out his time. So
our first live stream. You can find this on Rumble at Free Soil Media. Our first live stream, we're going to call it The Great Resist, is at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on July 5th. So,
you got it set up now?
Yep. So hope everyone will tune in and watch that.
July 5th at 8 o'clock?
Yep. July 5th, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, and he's going to do it live. So you heard that. All right, guys, don't forget to share our videos with your friends, family, even the liberal idiots if you still talk to them. To get our reach out, we have to do it because the election is coming up so fast, it's unreal. So as we wrap up this episode of The Conservative Viewpoint, I want to leave you with a thought. Ideas matter. Our conversations here aren't just words. They are seeds planted in the fertile soils of your minds. And remember, my fellow conservatives, you're not alone. We're a community of thinkers and dreamers and defenders of timeless principles. So mark your calendars for our next rendezvous, which is tomorrow night, same time, same place. Let's keep the torch burning, the dialogue alive, and the truth ringing out. Until then, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay true to your convictions. Thank you for tuning in, and may liberty guide your path. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.